91% of African Americans voted for Biden and will continue to vote for Biden if Kamala is his running mate. I would be very careful, President Biden, about getting rid of Kamala Harris because we will not support you.
Wait a minute. Hold up. My opinion. No, your opinion is valid and beautiful and all of that. But when was the last time you saw anybody get rid of a vice
Nobody does. That's the thing. It's a lot of Washington speculation.
No, it's not something you would do.
If it was Biden and Trump.
If Biden gets rid of Kamala Harris and inserts someone else, he will lose the black vote.
The cackling hens are at it again. This video is brought to you by Tatum Store. Y'all already know the deal. Get some of the merch. The link is in the description section. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bells to get notification anytime I go live, make a video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in beautiful San Diego at the Pastor Summit with Turning Point USA. Y'all, if y'all ain't going to Turning Point USA events, y'all missing everything about life. Incredible event, incredible, amazing pastors. I was on a panel earlier today, and we talked about a whole bunch of wide-ranging issues about the church and other things like that. So whatever, I'll put that video out. I'm sure the panel was recorded. I'll put it out so you can see it. However, let's talk about Kamala Harris, and let's talk about what I heard from Nancy Pelosi, who's dead, and also the women who are the cackling hens on The View. The subject of the video was that if Joe Biden do not run with Kamala Harris again, they'll lose the black vote. Let me tell you how stupid they think y'all are. And I'm talking about black people. They think that if Joe Biden, who's a horrible failed president, doesn't pick the most unpopular vice president of all time to run in re-election, that somehow that's going to be enough for black people to not vote for Democrats. First and foremost, Democrats have gotten black vote at 96%, 98%, 91% without ever having a black candidate. Not ever, but without having a black candidate, and also without having a black vice president. When Obama was in office, he ended up losing a lot of the black vote his second time around. And he didn't have anybody black as his vice president. Then you roll over to the Democrats. Donald Trump won the election against Hillary Clinton by leaps and bounds and got more of the black vote than the previous Republican. And then we see Donald Trump got more of the black vote in 2020, although he didn't win the election. And so now moving forward to 2024, black people vote on things that are much more complex, in my opinion, than just the color of somebody's skin. Kamala Harris is not an example or representation of black people anyway. So there's no way in the world black people are going to be stuck on whether or not she's in office with Joe Biden or not. That's not a thing that black people are concerned about. The thing is that black people have come from a history, and it's almost as if it's in our DNA, of being victimized in America. And we just haven't let it go. We haven't woken up to realize that we're not in Jim Crow South no more. This is the country is not the country that it used to be a long time ago with our grandfathers' grandfathers. We don't live in the same country, but for some reason we're passing that generational history down. When I say history, I mean that generational guilt, that generational victimhood, that generational hatred. We just won't let it go. And the Democrats are maximizing on that. They've weaponized empathy. They tell you, oh, we're going to make this right. Your ancestors, they keep invoking as if we're still living in a past predicament currently. And so with that being said, I think that's why they trick a lot of black people, and other black people trick their own people into voting for Democrats, although they're doing nothing for black people. And so with this whole shenanigans around Kamala Harris, it's like black people are having the opportunity to see these people are not doing anything for you. Skin folk ain't kinfolk. Just because she black don't mean she's acting in your best interest. And just because Joe Biden is a Democrat don't mean he's acting in your best interest. And I honestly believe people are starting to see it now. It's been probably over how many years? 50, 60 years? I say almost 60 to 70 years of us falling into this brainwashed scenario. And 60 years later, we're starting to kind of wake up. Because there is no reason whatsoever that black people should ever vote for Democrats, ever. I mean, never. There's no scenario where they should vote for Democrats. To be honest, they've done nothing for black people. Now all the worst areas where black people live are run by Democrats. But anyway, I said enough. Let me play the clip so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Wrote a clip.
Is Vice President Kamala Harris the best running mate for this president?
He thinks so, and that's what matters. And by the way,
you think so?
She's very politically astute. I don't think people give her enough credit.
But do you think she is the best running mate, though?
She's the vice president of the United States. So when people say to me, well, why isn't she doing this or that? I said, because she's the vice president. That's the job description. You don't do that much.
I have to say, Nancy Pelosi is incredibly politically astute, so I was a little surprised she didn't answer that question better. To me, that is a right out of the park for the Democrats to say, of course, she's a phenomenal vice president, they're our ticket. That waffling with all of the innuendo that's out there, the pieces that have been written saying that she's a lag on the ticket, that gets filled with fire. Because I know we have some caution over the polls, she's consistently lagged in approval behind Joe Biden. It's a fact. She polls lower than Pence did at this time. He is historically unfavorable. He's comparable to Jimmy Carter in the malaise era when he didn't win re-election. So I think Democrats' message, which is a smart one, is the future of the American Republic is on the line if it's against Donald Trump. But it's really hard to convince the public the oldest president in history and one of the most unpopular vice presidents is the strongest way to be.
He also was one of the most effective presidents we've had. This is what
Can I say this very quickly? Over the past 5 elections where you've had a Democrat win, they needed the black vote. 91% of African Americans voted for Biden and will continue to vote for Biden if Kamala is his running mate. I would be very careful, President Biden, about getting rid of Kamala Harris because we will not support you.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
My opinion.
No, your opinion is valid and beautiful and all of that. But when was the last time you saw anybody get rid of a vice
Nobody dumps the. That's the thing. It's a lot of washing and speculation.
No, it's not something you would do.
If it was Biden and Trump.
If Biden gets rid of Kamala Harris and inserts someone else, he will lose the black vote.
Even if it's another black woman like Val
We're
Jennings
not interchangeable.
But regardless,
we're not interchangeable.
And no one's saying you are. You would vote in an election against Donald Trump and Joe Biden and a black woman. You wouldn't vote.
I think that
But I want to know the answer.
I don't want to white-splain, but you might be underestimating the black community voter.
I don't think I am.
You would really sit out and elect. You said I was throwing my vote away if I wrote in another Republican.
I don't
but you're not throwing away your vote by not
Sonny,
supporting Biden if he drops.
I'm sorry, y'all. She is not going anywhere. Let's start with that. So this is a lot of hypothetical BS meant to make your mind explode.
Wait, can I jump in?
Take a breath.
That's why we chose the topic.
Well,
Let Sarah talk.
Okay, one thing I've been thinking a lot about is I wish we lived in a time where we could have fair criticisms of a president. I'm a fan of President Biden. I voted for him. Do I think he's the best ever? No. Vice President Harris, I have criticisms. Everyone, when we talk about that, are reduced to being a woman or being black, which I think there are conversations we can actually have about this. But right now, it's a privilege to discuss the alternative, which what I mean by that is if you are up against Donald Trump, Biden and Vice President Harris are my only option. And if we survived President Trump once, we can survive President Biden, Vice President Harris, and we will be fine. And then the election will end and the people will speak again.
So as you guys can see, I can't stand that fake Republican girl. I don't even know her name. She is the wackest woman on there. She's whacker than Whoopi and all these other fools. Cause she know better and she's been a fool by trying to play in the middle and act like she's a Republican. She's not a Republican. These people are not Republicans. They're cowards that ain't bold enough to stand on Republican principles, so they get paid money to go on the show and simp for the left. That's pretty much what they're doing. And so the fact that Sonny Hostin, who's a racist, is saying that the black vote isn't going to vote for Joe Biden if Kamala Harris is not in place, it's a hill of baloney. And I think black people have many more reasons to not vote for Democrats than just Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris is tragic. Even Nancy Pelosi said at the beginning of the video that vice presidents don't do anything. And this is what I said on my radio show, and I'm going to reiterate it today when I go on the radio, is that I honestly think we need to play fire with fire. Just as well as they're claiming that the black people will vote for Democrats because of Kamala Harris. I think that we should have a black vice president to combat that virtue signal that they have. Because there's a lot of qualified, brilliant black people that can be vice president, and we will have the first male black vice president in United States history. And therefore, it's all political anyway. You could tout that, look, we got a black vice president, and we got qualified people. They don't have qualified people. And if we can do that, ladies and gentlemen, we in business. If we can siphon the black vote from the Democrat Party at 20%, 15%, there'll never be another Democrat in power ever again in this country. And if we see the trajectory year over year, black people starting to become more 50-50 or 60-40, the world will change. To be honest, it would literally change. And that's something that's important. You see they talking about it. You see they trying to leverage it. We have qualified people that we can use and leverage so we can, have one up on them. Anyway, y'all let me know what you think about it. Comment in the comment section. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out.